Hi, I'm Alan R, and this is Motor Matters, your favorite channel for everything motoring in South Africa. Now, before we talk the car we're looking at today, let's talk changecars.co.za. That is the website where you can find your next car with total peace of mind, because they only list cars from franchise dealers. And once you've found that car, click on the button that says Discover Insure, and you can organize your insurance as well. That's changecars.co.za.
Fresh from the evaluation for the South African Car of the Year 2023, sponsored by Old Mutual Insure. Look what we've got. It's the Alfa Romeo Tonale, the new, smaller SUV in the range. Now, Alfa, when they launched it, and I was at the launch last year, were very proud of some cues that go back into Alfa history and Alfa legend. So let's have a look at a few of the little cues. The first one is what they call the triple grille. I'm not going to try and attempt the Italian that they used for the triple grills, but you can see that there. Then have a look at these headlights. Note 1, 2, 3. Now that's cues to the SZ and a couple of very special Alfas from the last century as well that they used and they've brought into the modern one. What's even more interesting, and I really found this fascinating with the Tonale, is these lights over here. And you'll see they almost U-shaped. They're daytime running lights, or your headlights obviously, but just imagine the daytime running lights. And I was driving with the Tonale behind me, and they're very bright white daytime running lights. But when you put the indicator on, they change to orange, but they flash the three lights, flash the orange for the indicator. It just looked impressive, let me put it that way. And I really enjoyed it. Let's come around this side now. Obviously, being a medium-ish SUV, you've got the black cladding around the wheel arches, down the bottom of the doors, etc., etc. You know you're going to find that. But again, hark back to the past. The 5-slot telephone dial alloy wheels from Alfa Romeo. And look at those red Alfa brake calipers as well. You've got to love these little things and these little touches on this car. This one is the Speciale, middle child of the current range, but it is a launch special and it gives you a lot of extras. I'm not going to go into it, which you can get on this model and at a discount to the top Veloce model. Just nice and neat. Of course, it is a typical medium SUV, but it's also the coupe-ish type. You can see pretty sharp at the rear. And Alfa mentioned, and it harks to the lines of many of the very famous Alfa models of yesteryear. And they're very proud of a lot of those facts. Let's pop open the back door. Remembering, as always, the driver's seat is set for myself. So let's see what we're going to deal with when I get in the back here. Lots and lots of legroom. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Headroom's pretty good with my hat on. And what I do like, aircon vent for the rear with an on-off, can we call it, for the airflow. And notice USB B and C for the rear seat as well. Nice. These are touches that you want in what is angling towards being a family vehicle in many ways. So always keep that in mind. Let's pop around to the tail over here. And again, a couple of styling cues. Note the triple lights again. Just going back to, and the shaping of these triple lights again. And something else that goes back to many of the Alfas of yesteryear. Note the very subtle V on the rear window that comes down to a tiny little point over there. It's not drastic, but it's there, it's subtle, and it certainly does have an effect. Automated tailgate on this version, thank you. And quite a high-ish load lip, but a very good sized boot for a vehicle of this size. And I must say that does impress me. And you've even got a 12-volt socket in the boot area. How's that? So there you go, an additional 12-volt. Let's just lift up the board. And sorry, no spare wheel. These are run flats, obviously. You've got to make do with that. You know I hate that, but I'm not going to go on about it too much today. Can drop the rear seats, obviously 60/40, and you've also got the flap over there, what they call the ski flap in Europe. Press button for boot to close, although it does need a pretty substantial press. And you can see over here the rear, the diffuser, etc., etc. Everything you expect, let's put it that way, and at the price you would expect it. The 1.5 litre 4-cylinder hybrid puts out what doesn't seem that massive, 118 kilowatts and 214 newton meters to the front wheels through a 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. Let's check it out on the road. On the road in our suburb, as we now have become accustomed to doing, the Tonale feels good. I like to use that word. It's one of these very interesting cars because it's full of contradictions. It's a family medium SUV, but it's got some Alfa magic. And you can dial up the level of the Alfa magic, which really I find exciting. And that's with that DNA switch, as they call it. Dynamic, normal, and a avoid, as somebody said to me the other day. Because quite honestly, considering that the 1.5 litre 4-cylinder hybrid puts out 118 kilowatts and 214 newton meters, they're not the most exciting numbers. And that's again the contradiction, isn't it? Because the numbers are not massive. But, and it's a big but, when you put it in dynamic mode in particular, it tightens up the steering, it tightens up the car generally, and it just brings it alive. And quite honestly, you'll see from our fuel consumption figures and a few other things that I was a bit naughty on this test maybe, because I've kind of left it in dynamic mode and I haven't really even used it in normal mode because I just enjoyed it too much in dynamic, and I felt a teeny bit let down in normal modes, and that's why I just avoided the economy mode, the A. Simple as that. But you'll see in a moment when you have a look, I'm not pushing it hard, but believe me, the hybrid, and this is an interesting kind of hybrid because it's definitely the petrol engine with some, I'm going to call it minor hybrid assistance. It's not major hybrid assistance, but it gives it that extra oomph when you want, and it turns it into what I consider a real alpha when you do push on that teeny bit as you like to do. Well, let's see what our 3-point turn spot does to us today. And well, the turning circle's just that little bit bigger, so no, we had to just go into reverse. But just show us quickly while we're in reverse, you've got the nice reverse camera, you've got the overhead view, you've got all of those things you can see nice and clear. Really, I think it's a pretty nice camera system as well, and that's what you want, don't you, from any car you're driving? You want those systems and you want to know they're working really well. Let's just stop over here quickly and we can show you a few things. Now I'll just grab the camera and show you the dashboard because it's a nice looking dashboard, I think. You can see now we're in EV mode. It's telling you, there you go. And it's got, you can see where the charge is, what it's doing, what the engine's doing. Now, crucial for you to see right now are, of course, some of the numbers. And I'm just trying to get it a bit clearer for you right now. We've done 448 446 kilometers on this test, averaging 7.3 liters per 100. Look, that's not exceptional. I know that. But the car's too much fun to worry about exceptional fuel figures as far as I'm concerned. There's also 197 kilometers left in the tank. That's important. You've got lane departure. You can see just above where it shows the range. That's your lane departure. You've got all these features you want. I'm not going to tell you. You've got active cruise control. For example, over there, there's the button for you. You've got, of course, I love the stop button on the steering wheel. That sporty look to it. It looks so good. All your controls over here. These are all what you expect. You, of course, on Speciale in particular, you've got memories, 3 memory settings for the driver's seat as well, which is electrically adjusted, as is the passenger seat. Nice as well. You come across here, I mentioned the DNA. There you go. You just click it and you dynamic mode whenever you want, and there you go. You just do that very quickly. Your aircon buttons are all here. They're buttons. They're not on the screen, which of course gives you everything you want, and there is built-in nav. Thank you for that. Like it. I always do. I'm old-fashioned in that way. But there you go with the screen. Works well. Everything you want. Again, I'm not going to show you too much. Very useful. Just below the aircon buttons, you've got a USB A and C over there. So good stuff. And a really nice vertical charging pad for your phone. Interesting one, and it works. Come down, you've got the 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission driving the front wheels. Yes, but really it gives you alpha handling. Let's not discuss it. Let's leave it there, okay? And you've got electronic parking brake and a nice roller knob over here for your passenger to adjust the sound on the Harman Kardon sound system, which again is standard on Speciale. Dashboard looks very neat. You've got this very interesting aluminium type trim over here. I think it looks good. Talk the screen quickly. It's one of these, it's not fully integrated into the dash, yet it doesn't sit up proud. So I think they've come with a bit of a compromise there, but it works really well in my book. Lovely leather trim throughout, all the features you expect. You'll see the back seat. You'll have seen the space in the back seat, so let's not worry there. Nice and everything dark, of course, which is typically Alfa. Well, as I've said to you, it's an Alfa, and it does come over as an Alfa in so many ways, and it's an emotion that you pick up. The Tonale in South Africa at the moment, only the 1-engine option, 3 models. TI, Speciale, Veloce. This is the middle one, which is a launch edition. I'm not sure how long you'll be able to get Speciales for. Then there'll only be the 2. Prices start at $740 for the TI. This one, bang on 800,000 Rand. And then you go up to 820 for the Veloce, which just gives you an extra few trim items more than anything else, because as I said, mechanically they're identical. You do get a 5-year, 100,000 kilometer full maintenance plan included in the price as well. So there you go. Difficult. Alfa is Alfa. I say they're emotional. What does it compare with? What does it compete with? Well, I'd say BMW's X1 would be a good example. Mercedes GLA would be a good example. Top end of Hyundai's Tucson, Kia Sportages, all those. Somehow they all fit into a category together these days of the bigger than crossover hitting the mid-size, almost medium SUV size. Fascinating left field extra choice that I certainly know I love. Got to tell you that much. For you, drive it and experience it yourself. But remember to turn that knob to D dynamic when you're wanting to drive it, because you want to experience that. Overall, go and check it out. For Motor Matters, I'm Eleanor. I'll see you next time.